The following is a Papi Chulo Radio original program. The views and opinions expressed in the commentaries and/or interviews in the following program are solely those of the individuals and are not views of Papi Chulo Radio, its parent, affiliate, or subsidiary companies.
Welcome, foolish mortals, to Horror Hotel, a PapiChuloRadio.com original series, Papi Chulo Radio, Pop Culture on Demand. I am your host and hotel owner, Jeffrey Aruz. We're so glad you could check in. We've been dying to have you. That was extra. Here on Horror Hotel, we're going to explore some of Hollywood's scariest, most frightening, and creepiest films. Please welcome my co-hosts, Night Manager Legionnaire.
Hey, we may not enjoy living together, but dying together isn't going to solve anything. Damn it.
Well, I believe the late great Maya Angelou once said that. Next up, Night Auditor Mark Estes.
Hello, creatures of the night.
Next up, Guest Services Supervisor Donovan Trott, our own Creeping Terror.
They're coming to get you, Felicia.
That was a good one.
And Banquet Manager Ramon Marquise.
Come, you must hurry up.
Before we head on over to the ballroom, let's stop by the front desk, where one of our bellhops has a few special announcements.
Good evening. We thank you for your patronage. Please step all the way in, and make room for everyone. There's no turning back now. I didn't mean to frighten you prematurely. The real chills come later. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/PCR Horror Hotel. Follow Papi Chulo Radio on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter, and YouTube, at Papi Chulo Radio. For more information on Horror Hotel, visit papichuloradio.com/Horror Hotel. Do you have any questions, suggestions, comments, or concerns? Email us via contact@papichuloradio.com. Help support Papi Chulo Radio financially by visiting gofundme.com/papichuloradio. Are you interested in joining the Papi Chulo Radio team as an on-air personality or blog contributor? Email talent@papichuloradio.com. Binge listen to your favorite Papi Chulo Radio programs by visiting papichuloradio.com/archives. You can also download tonight's broadcast and the rest of the series through iTunes. Just search for Papi Chulo Radio's Horror Hotel, and subscribe. Now, grab some popcorn and some snacks. You may step into the ballroom. It's time for your feature presentation.
Thank you. It's time to fire up the film projector in our ballroom so that we can discuss 1968's Night of the Living Dead. Here's the official synopsis of the film. There is panic throughout the nation as the dead suddenly come back to life. The film follows a group of characters who barricade themselves in an old farmhouse in an attempt to remain safe from these flesh-eating monsters. Burm, burm, burm. Alright, you know my question. Have you ever seen this movie before? Do we have some virgins, who has seen or hasn't ever seen 1968's Night of the Living Dead? Let's start off with you, Donovan.
So the last time I saw this movie, yes, I have seen it before. The last time I saw it was maybe a decade ago. So it felt new, even though I'd seen it several times before.
All right now, Legionnaire.
Yes, I have seen this movie a number of times.
Ramon.
First time seeing the movie.
Clutch the Pearls?
I think you killed Mark, and he's going to reanimate in just a moment. What about you, Mark?
I've seen this movie several times. It's almost an annual thing, but I don't try to see it every time it comes on TV because it's one of those movies that still scares the shit out of me to this day. So I try not to oversaturate it with my psyche. But I get to that later.
Really?
Yes, really.
Okay, we're going to get into your brain in a moment. But I will warn you, Mark. Clutch the pearls and hold on to your seat. I had never seen this movie either.
Shooketh.
I think I killed Donovan this time, too. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's talk about the movie. And typically, we talk about the cast. And I think it's very important to talk about the cast with this movie because, in my opinion, the star of the movie is Ben, the character Ben, played by Dwayne Jones.
Yes, God.
And this
Amen.
is 1968, and we have a black man, a man of color, as the lead in this horror movie. Let's talk about this.
Yes, he was the lead, and it was definitely a groundbreaking moment, but it was groundbreaking mostly because this movie ended up becoming what a huge hit it was. Like, when it was made on a nothing budget by a bunch of nobody, basically. So the fact that it took off made it so amazing. But, I just think that him being black was, like, great, but I'm thinking about it in the context of, like, well, when they were casting it, they were like, we're not going to get Marlon Brando, because we have, like, a budget of $500, like, literally. So,
well, Marlon Brando would have done it for some donuts.
he...
You see, man?
I'm just being honest.
In 68,
Like, right, Legionnaire?
Come on now.
Well, yeah, probably. But yeah, I definitely think it was certainly atypical to see a black man not only be in the lead, but be the hero of more or less the hero of the film,
Right.
such as he was. So it was cool. I think it was something I recognized even as a kid. It was something I recognized. This one black man who seems to have the most sense out of all these white folks.
Yes.
I know, right?
He's smart.
Absolutely.
As someone who watched this for the first time, I was shocked because especially it's 1968.
Mm-hmm.
Like this was like in my mind revolutionary. I'm like,
Yeah.
I was very impressed. I was very impressed for a 1968 movie to have
But
a
this
black
is on
man
the
as the
cusp
lead.
of blaxploitation as well. Like a couple of years after this, blaxploitation became a huge thing. So the mood was ripe for more representation. But yeah, this was still, for this genre, it was still a big deal.
And I appreciate it because when the movie first started and I saw, the Dwayne Jones character, I'm thinking, oh, he's probably going to be like the help or something. And as the movie
Oh my
progressed,
lord.
Was he
He looked a little Octavia
As the movie-
Spencer-ish.
as the movie progressed, I said, wow, he has this strong protector type of vibe. And I was very appreciative of that. I enjoyed it.
Well, for me, to be honest with everybody, I actually sat there and watched the remake the Tom Savini remake, that was my first introduction to the Night of the Living Dead. Because the Tom Savini remake.
I don't even know what that is.
Tony Todd.
Yeah, with Tony Todd.
Oh, okay. I still don't know what that is.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, the only Living Dead, whatever you want to add in front of it, or Dead, whatever you want to add in front of it, movie that I know is, oh my, the one that was released maybe 15 years ago, where they all go to the mall, and I think Ving Rhames is in it.
That was
Day of the
Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the
Yeah.
Dead.
Okay.
Dawn of the Dead.
I knew it had Dead in the title. That's the only one that I've ever seen, besides now this one.
That's
Yeah,
a
me
good
too.
one, though. That's a good one.
Yeah, it was cool. But, okay, so go into, like, this Tony Todd one, which now I feel like I need to watch, because Tony Todd is awesome.
Well, the reason why I brought that up is because that was my introduction to the story, the narrative. It's like these 7 people trapped inside of a house, and they're trying to get out, and, so that was my first...
Oh, it's like a remake?
Dead. It's the remake, yeah. And so it came out in 1990. And so, and then I remember seeing...
Oh, I saw this one.
Yeah, it's the most recognizable one because we will get to that later on, but it's the most recognizable remake that's come out. It's actually the first remake, if I'm not mistaken. But the reason why I brought that up is because when I actually did go back and see the original, it came on TV some random night, and I said, "Oh, this is the original." Because you saw clips, you saw the whole clips of like, "He's coming to get you, Barbara. They're coming to get you, Barbara," and stuff like this. So I actually sat there and watched the original movie. And was scared out of my mind because, and I can get into reasons why, but I don't want to jump ahead. But seeing in 1968 that there was a black guy, like they didn't recast a black guy for the role in the original, in the remake. No, that's who it was, a black guy. And even though I love Tony Todd's being, because that's my first one, Dwayne Jones's being, it's just so, he just came in and just, I don't want to say
Stole the scene.
He just took control, and I mean that in the most. He owned it because he had the most plausible idea. He kept telling people, "Why y'all barricading yourselves down? Did y'all even try to sit there and see there's even a way out in case we get cased up in this stuff?" Because he was out there in it, and he was out there in it. He was just trying to pass by to get some gas, and then he had to sit there and take control. He didn't. I mean that in a way of like he just made everybody do what he wanted them to do. It was just like, no, to survive the night, we got to make sure there's an exit, and we got to make sure to find them keys. He had 2 objectives: find them keys, and we need to keep these doors, barricaded and whatnot. And then and this is the reason why the movie scares me mainly, is because if they all had to set aside their differences, they would have probably got out their house. Because all the stuff that happened in this whole, I forgot how many minutes of the movie, could have been prevented because it was just silly shit, and
I agree. It is a microcosm of different personalities and also different backgrounds and whatnot. And that's part of the fun of these zombie movies. It's like all these zombie movies have practically the same premise. Like starting with this one, you get a bunch of people from all different places, you put them in one place and see what happens. So that's really the movie. The zombies are like what forces them to come together. Because you could really have this sort of movie in all different types of settings. You don't even need the zombies. You just need a reason to get all these people together.
So Donovan, you're basically saying it's 12 angry men and women with zombies?
Essentially.
Hey, that's a good way of putting it, though. It really is. Because that's the bottom line. Like you could have, that's why I was saying earlier about The Walking Dead. I don't want to get into that, but I'm just saying, like, that's why I feel like The Walking Dead is a better show than Z Nation, because at least with The Walking Dead, it's a character study, and you could put them behind, you could replace the walkers, the zombies with aliens, you could replace it with mutated humans or anything like that, or just the end of the world. I mean, it is in the world, but I'm just saying, like, something else, some type of external entity, and it was still
Harold Perrineau.
Oh my God! That horrible. That's just.
Shout out to Harold. It's coming from Mark.
I'm sorry. I'm just like, dude, you could have did better than that. But you got your check. That's all that matters. But I mean, that's why I watch it every year. But I don't watch it to the point where it messes my it takes away some of the thrill because it still unnerves me. I cannot watch Night of the Living Dead alone. The last time I watched it alone was Halloween night on IFC, and I had a big ass butcher knife right beside me.
Oh my gosh, that is adorable.
Because I was like, that is just not going to happen no more, and I was still like a teenager or something. And my parents came home like, why you got this knife right beside you? I said, I just watched 3 horror movies straight, and I have the last one, Night of the Living Dead. And they're like, you need to stop that. I'm like, it's going to be okay. I just had to protect myself because it's Halloween. And, people tend to do stupid stuff on Halloween. So
I know. They show up to your house in a clown mask.
Dude, craziest
that is
thing
adorable.
I've ever done on Halloween is wear stilettos.
Oh, I've seen those pictures.
Yeah.
And I will say, and this is sharing sort of real life with the listeners, and this is something, you triggered this, Mark, with what you were saying a couple moments ago. I love getting a Facebook update on my feed of, like, Mark watching a random-ass horror movie at, like, 3:30 in the morning.
Yes, that's me.
Like, it's fantastic. I love it. And it's random. It's like the weirdest shit. And I'm like, why are you watching that at 3:30 in the morning? But anyway, sometimes it is for us here at the hotel, but other times it's just very random. But okay, let's talk about the co-lead of the film, Judith O'Dea. I believe that's how you pronounce it, as Barbara. Yeah. With that, let's talk about Barbara's hair too.
Iconic. Sorry.
Absolutely. That is true.
That hair was everything. I'm sorry.
Was it? Okay.
It was letting me have it for the time.
I'm sure she was all that in her day.
Yeah, and she kept on running a lot, but like the hair was fine.
You know what? That's one of the things that I wrote down. Like,
okay.
Moving away from the hair, when she was running, even in movies today, you see girls like running through the woods, they're like running from a somebody or whatever, and it looks fake. It looks like it's not real. Here, she looked like she was running for her fucking life.
Yeah,
like, she was like, oh my god, like I believed that,
Yeah, but the hair wasn't scared
at all.
I mean, all them cans of hairspray.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The Aquanet.
Yeah. Rest in peace to all the the spray cans that we went through. The hairspray cans went through because I mean that's probably like at least 6 hours to share. Like, no, you're not done
Gotta
yet.
be.
Yeah.
Half the budget went to her damn wig.
Yeah, that's true. It was high quality. It's from the Sherry Shepherd collection. But let's. So Barbara, like, we sort of see her like almost immediately become unhinged.
Her brother did die first.
Yeah,
she was assaulted.
Okay, well, Donovan gives her a pass. But
like
she just like unraveled very fast, and like everyone else that we're introduced to was like much more cool, calm, and collected.
But here's my thing.
But we don't know how it started.
That is true.
They might have freaked out in the beginning and got a chance to get calm.
Yeah, I did like that she became unhinged. I just was like, good grief, girl. Like,
yeah, she annoyed me. She annoyed me a lot. And the thing is, like, with her specifically, I feel like they felt like she took the audience's place. Like, there's always a character in horror movies, especially in horror movies, that it's pretty clear this person is supposed to be in the place of the audience. Like, there's always that one person who's, like, questioning everything, like, why don't we do this? Or why can't we do that? Or they they scream when other people are like, why are you screaming? Like, you know, there's that person who's supposed to react when the audience reacts.
Yeah.
So I feel like she was that person, but I think that it stretched on a bit long. Like, she never really broke. You know, had this traumatic experience, and after that, never really recovered. Whereas everyone else, as you said, kind of not went on, but they, like, I think that survival thing kicked in, and they were like, all right, this is some crazy shit, but we got to figure out a way to live. And she was just in this weird place. And I think that that's what they wanted the audience to be like. Because, I mean, I guess back in 1968, this was like one of the very first zombie movies. So this was like a whole new thing. So they were expecting people to just sort of be in disbelief, or just like, you know, it's like, what would I do if this ever happened? You would just freak the fuck out, because not only are you running for your life, you're confronting this idea of a zombie. Now we know what zombies are. So if it actually did happen, we would freak out, but we would sort of adapt because we've been consuming the idea of zombies for so long. Back then, it was new.
Yeah, that's a whole nother topic I want to get on about, like the whole zombies. What would you do in a zombie apocalypse?
Well, actually, I have that question next. I do.
Well, I feel like you have to ask that question when it comes to zombie movies. It's like,
yes.
What would you do if this shit happened?
I will ask that question in a moment, but Mark, you were about to say something else.
Oh, yeah, I was going to, co-sign what he said about, because, see, Barbara, and I hate bringing up the 1990 version, because it's night and day, the character.
Who played Barbara in 1990s?
Yeah.
Nancy Cartwright?
Patricia Tallman. Patricia Tallman. Y'all probably don't recognize her. She was
Lily Tomlin's daughter?
I never.
No, Tallman.
Oh, Tallman.
If you watch Babylon 5, she was a character on there for a couple of seasons.
Yeah, she also starred in a series of Ovaltine commercials.
But the thing of the matter is
she didn't.
Judah O'Day's Barbara, like, she kind of like brought us to the house, and then once we got in the house, we were there. You see what I'm saying? When she did her part, she just sat there and like said something crazy every so often and whatnot, and then, you know, she was just there, but she's the lead. You know what I'm saying? She's the one.
Well, hold on. She also got slapped like no one's business by a black man in 1968.
Yes.
You know she liked it.
That was a big deal. She probably, and you know what, Donovan? She probably was stunned from that alone. Like, this black man just slapped me.
She was shooked. She was shooked.
Never snapped back.
She didn't sit there and tell Tom and Cooper when they came out, this black man assaulted me, because they were like, we don't care about we don't care about.
She's like, fuck the zombies. This black man just hit me.
It's too much. So here's the question. You are Barbara, and Donovan can easily fit into those shoes. We learned that a few moments ago, at Halloween night, remember? So you're doing what normal people do. You know, you have a family member that has passed, maybe a parent. You're going to the cemetery. You're there with another family member. And then this creepy man starts approaching. And then all hell breaks loose. What do you do?
I'll tell you what I don't do.
Okay. You don't run into a farmhouse?
It's not even that. It's as the altercation was progressing. This guy walked up on her. She didn't know him from Adam. She was like, oh my God, Johnny helped me. Johnny came, wrestled the man off of her. And then she stood her ass behind the gravestone and watched from like 20 feet away and just watched as Johnny got his ass beat. Like, really? This is your brother. He just jumped in to save your life. You're just going to stand there? She didn't even look around for like a weapon or anything. Like, that's when I lost it for Barbara. Like, in the very beginning.
Yes, because you know there are several weapons in a cemetery.
Hey, I mean, I know you're like talking in jest, but like you can pick up a piece of wood or a vase. I'm sure there's plenty of vases with
Okay,
flowers
that
in
is true.
them.
You know, you could pick
Mhm.
up an urn.
I'm sure she had a purse. Go get in the car, run his dad's down. Like you could have did something, you know. I mean, she just literally sat there and watched her brother get like beat the fuck up and just screamed.
Because trust and believe, if Barbara had been Kawana and Jamal,
Right.
he would have been a well-whooped ass.
Oh yeah.
Shout
Oh,
out to
yeah.
Kawana and Jamal if you're
And we'd have
listening
gotten
to
our
this
car and left
podcast.
like
Left.
nothing happened.
Right.
And that's another thing I wanted to bring up to y'all, if I may, Jeff.
Yes. About Kawana and Jamal?
Know about just
Were they in the
how-
reboot?
No, just how the hell did they not know what's going on?
Well, all right. So
Well, the
that's a
thing
really
is, in these
interesting-
movies, like, no one knows what the hell is going on.
Well,
Right.
that's a really interesting point. But the very first note I wrote down was that they turned off the radio. So as soon as they pull up to the graveyard, Johnny, like Barbara gets out the car, and then the radio kicks on. And then you hear this guy on the radio say, "Oh, sorry about that. There were technical difficulties, but we're back on the air." And then he switches the radio off. And had he waited for a couple of seconds longer, I'm pretty sure he would have heard that there's some crazy shit going on. You guys need to be prepared. Because they really did go through pains to, like, through the dialogue to show you that these people have been in a car for 3 hours without a radio. So all this shit has been happening, and they don't know about it. So that's sort of like, that was the very first note I wrote down. And I also sort of took note of the fact that, you know, most horror movies, they really go out of their way to give the protagonist or the victims or whatever you want to call them, they go out of their way to give them an out. And it's kind of like the old adage of the girl, the babysitter, the guy's coming in the house, and she runs up the stairs instead of running out the front door. If she ran out the front door, the movie would be over. But they do have to give her that option. And then the audience is sort of like cheering for her to do one thing and she does another. This was, in a way, that sort of thing. Like, had he left that radio on for a few moments longer, he probably would have heard there's all these mass murders going on. Like, because that's what they were calling it at that point. And then when this guy is, like, walking up to them looking kind of drunk or kind of weird, he probably would have connected the dots and been like, let's get the fuck out of here. So it's that opportunity to be saved, but not really be saved so the movie can progress. And then, yeah, but there was also, like, you know, to Legionnaire, what he said, like, there was something happening, and they made it clear that, you know, you have to rewatch it, like, a couple of times before you pick up on all the little nuances. But, you know, it was clear that when the radio popped on, there's something going on, but he turned it off too quickly.
But Donovan, the call is coming from inside the house.
Exactly.
Yeah, but for me, I guess I'm looking at like Ben's account of what happened, then the Coopers, their account of what happened, and then Tom and Judy, their account of what happened. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking like this is going on like all day. Not second, but to be honest, to be truthfully honest, they've been on the road all day. They wasn't like in town or anything like that, or
Yeah.
so. I mean, because you're on the road, you probably know what's going on. But it just seemed because Ben said he had to sit there and like fight a big bunch of them and stuff like this. So I'm thinking like they may have, you know, came across some or something, or they probably didn't realize it. They probably witnessed to it. Because I had to go back. Because I guess every time I watch the movie, I'm like, how did y'all not know that this was going on? Because I'm thinking like, because I'm looking at modern stuff. I'm trying to use modern stuff, trying to make sense of White Night Living Dead, 1968.
It's 1968.
Yeah.
Only
so-
Donovan knows what it was like back then.
I do.
Okay, so removing Ben and Barbara from the equation, because I have a feeling that everyone would pick one of them, maybe. Who did you like in the house? Did you find any of them sympathetic? were you caring about their plights and whatnot?
I mean, obviously Ben was
Well,
like.
I removed him from the
dude.
equation.
You said Barbara. And,
I said Ben
you
and
said Barbara
Barbara.
and
I said Ben and Barbara.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant Barbara and Johnny. I just look at them as a pair in my head.
Aw.
I thought Helen was a Reed.
Helen
You thought she was a
Yeah,
what?
she was a Reed.
A Reed?
on who?
Yeah.
Mothers? Who?
Yes.
Why you say that?
There was a couple of, I just love that that line that she gave. It just stuck with me. She's like, we may not enjoy living together, but dying together isn't going to solve anything. I just thought that
Oh,
was
that's
hilarious.
Oh,
When she said that, I was like, oh,
Yeah, that's true.
ooh, no, there's some subtext here that we
Exactly. That's
She
what
was
I'm
a-
backstory.
Right. We need some history.
Right.
Yeah.
And don't
Yeah,
get,
I mean, I liked her in that sort of way as well. She was reading the girls down, especially Harry, her husband.
Yeah.
But as far as who I could see myself being,
Well, not necessarily
Probably-
being. Like, did you sympathize with any of them?
Judy.
Nope.
I sympathize with Judy, Tom's
Yeah.
girlfriend. She was
'cause she-
smart. She was pretty. She died way too quick, but she died in such a way to where I could see myself dying like that. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it wasn't a stupid idea going for the gas, but it was, you know what I mean.
Kaboom.
It's like,
Yeah.
but it
Kabitch,
wasn't
kaboom.
Like, she didn't see that shit coming. It wasn't like
yeah.
she died like Barbara died. Like, oh my
Right.
God, Johnny. Like, bitch, he's a zombie. Run. She wasn't, that's just dumb.
Yeah.
But Judy
That's-
was like helpful and
Yes.
yeah.
That's
And
true.
I'm a co-sign with that. To me, the only person inside the entire house that I did not care for was Cooper. And because he was the one who was causing all the tension and the drama. You
He was
know,
being
and
the most.
He was being the most, exactly. He was being the most. And it was just like everybody else was like, okay, obviously this man, aka Ben, knows what he's talking about. We've been stuck down here in this basement. We don't know what's going on. He's been out there. He knows how to get to certain places. He is the person we need to be listening to right now.
Hold on,
But-
who's Cooper?
Harry Cooper.
Harry Cooper.
Harry and Helen,
I
yeah.
just know him as Harry.
Harry. Oh my God, that scene where he tries to be like quien es más macho and like tries to take over the farmhouse.
Oh,
Like I
yeah.
was just
Yeah.
like, sit the
Yeah.
Go
fuck
sit down
down.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, all right. So I didn't like him.
Are you siding with the white supremacist, Donovan?
No.
Okay.
But here's the thing. He at least had an idea. Barbara just sat there. She was useless. She was... I felt... And I
Barbara saw her brother get eaten alive.
She did not see him get eaten alive.
Well,
she
close
saw him
enough.
fall down and hit his head.
Well, that
So
too.
That's what she saw. But she just kept it. It was so drawn out. I feel like it was unreasonable to have her be in that catatonic state for so long. She didn't have any idea of what
She was
going on
shooked.
around her. She was
Mhm.
scared of her own shadow. Harry at least had a child and a wife to worry about. He had this idea that the bunker or not the bunker, but the cellar was the way to write it out. It's not a totally stupid idea. It's like politics. Like I can see both sides of the issue. Like, yeah,
Okay, so
You
you
know-
agree that he should have taken the rifle and tried to shoot Ben?
no. But what I'm saying is that he had a wife and he had a daughter. He was trying to protect them, defend them. I at least understand that he was like, look, I'm doing what I got to do for my family. Barbara was just useless. So Harry
Well,
didn't
damn.
bother me as much. Like, of course, you have to have that one person who's like a fucking moron and, whatever. But Barbara annoyed me way more than Harry did.
Okay. So wait,
two
just a
things.
second.
I'm
So
sorry.
Donovan likes Harry. Did anyone else like Harry?
Oh, my God.
No.
Okay.
I think that
Continue on, Mark.
the thing with Harry's idea about the base, that's why I said that everybody was like listening to Ben because he has been the one who's been out there. He's fought a gang of them. He said that
Donovan would listen to Harry. He would not listen to Ben.
Oh my god!
And so
You
being in
gonna
that
box after this.
Oh my
so
gosh.
being in that basement and not knowing if there's an exit out anywhere or something like that, I think there actually was, but you don't want to sit there and get all of them inside the house and then go out. Because technically, he probably sat there and said there was an exit outside in the basement, but you can't really see. You're just going to see what's up there at their moment. You get out that basement, be a crowd them at that basement door. You know what I'm saying? And then you be trapped on both ends. So at least on the living first floor level, you can see all your exits and whatnot. And I think that's why that's the idea that's been transferred over to like other like movies like The Walking Dead and the other horror zombie movies become of late. You know, I always have an exit plan, but if you go in that basement, you're trapped. But I hate to bring up the 1990 movie again, but I'm going to tell Donovan's issue with Barbara was an issue that a lot of horror fans, I believe, had with her character because she's the lead and she's not doing anything. She's just there, you know, just like.
But was she the lead though, or was she?
She's the
I feel like
co-lead, I would say.
She got you to the house, but then Ben was the lead.
I mean, I mean, she's the I meant the co-lead. I mean, she's a female lead. Let's say it like that. You know.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I meant. She's the female lead because when you sit there and you see like the posters and they promote the movie, every time you see any version of the Night of the Living Dead DVD or VHS, you see Dwayne Jones and Judith O'Dea. You don't see any of the other actors, the actresses' names up there, so she's considered the co-lead. But they fixed all that in the 1990 remake, and I cannot wait to hear what y'all say about it when y'all get a chance to see it and DM me. But
is Harry still a dick?
Oh God, yes.
Oh, okay.
God.
Well, then Donovan will love him.
Well, no, oh my god! I vaguely remember the 1990 version, but from what I remember, all the archetypes were the same. But yeah, I do remember there being something different with the Barbara character.
Oh God, drastic difference. Now I would say the Barbara character from the 68 version was transformed over to Judy.
So the Judy character in the 1990 version, she had super long blonde hair.
Yes, and annoying as hell. But
okay.
Yeah. Okay, so, but another thing I want to bring up about Barbara is in the archetypes, you know, you're going to always have the hysterical character. You're going to have that asshole. And you always have the hysterical character. I think Barbara was the hysterical character because, you know, again, like all of us said that, what would you do if this happened? So everybody's had their first encounter. They've seen Harry and Helen saw their daughter get bit by one of these zombies. Ben saw a group of them get up and walk again, and they shot them down and stuff like that. Tom and Judy saw his uncle get attacked by his cousin and whatnot, and so they've seen these things in action. All Barbara saw was just somebody attack her brother. So you knew she was going to be dead way from day one because she hasn't seen the true horrors that these things do, unless. Because I think the scene where they fall and when the zombie looks up at her, he has blood on his mouth. So I don't know if they sat there and cut away from him biting into Johnny, because I always wondered that, like, did he bite him? And then that's what threw her into the whole, you know, catatonic state and everything. And then she just went like running crazy and stuff. And
there was a definite lack of gore in this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like gore as just like a thing to throw in, but sometimes it is informative, and I felt like the zombies in this version of the film weren't as scary because you didn't have those shots of them biting into people and like really just like ripping bodies apart. They were basically like mental patients who you could like hit in the head with a bat and like put down. Yeah.
But there was that scene, though, I think it was after the explosion, where they were, like, playing with, like, I mean, it looked like a link of sausage, but, like, they were playing with, like, intestines or stuff.
Can we talk for a second before you continue on about the zombies specifically? Like,
yes.
I felt like, for one, this is the first sort of modern zombie movie that we have, so you have to give a lot of allowances. But I think one of the things that they hadn't perfected was, what is a zombie? Because there were a couple of moments, like that moment where they shot the guy, Ben shot the zombie through the window, and then the zombie backed up, and then he had an expression on his face, and then he kept going. And it was sort of like, and even when Johnny came through the front door, like to skip ahead, when Johnny came through the front door to get Barbara, it was like he had an expression. And it was sort of like, zombies don't have feelings. They don't express things. All they want is to eat you. So I felt like this sort of being the first film in this genre, like they were still sort of perfecting things, but the zombies weren't as scary because they weren't necessarily mindless sort of things. They were like, it seemed like a lot of the actors who were playing zombies were trying to like use their degree and try to like be a zombie. Like, this is me and I'm a zombie. But it wasn't like, you know, that's not what's scary about zombies, you know?
Yeah. And again, at that time, because you brought up a good point, I don't know if you mentioned this earlier, Donovan. Did you mention when the first, what they call the cemetery zombie? Did you remember when he picked up that, like, no zombie has the mental capacity to pick up a brick and then just
Yes!
That's why I was like, what? Are you serious? I said, now the zombies in the movies and stuff we see today, did some crap like that, we're done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because they're mindless. They just sit there, they see you, and all they do is try to get through the thing. They can't open up doors. They can't do anything like that. But if they sit there now to open up doors and can break stuff and stuff like that, there's no, just in the movie for me. Nobody's going to make it.
Wow.
That's one of the scenes that took me out of the movie when I was watching it again, because like I said, I haven't seen it in a few years. So when I was watching it again and he picked up the brick, I was like, hold up. Wait. No. Like, so, yeah, I mean, that's like one of the things that sort of like takes you out of the movie. Like, that's not something a zombie would do.
Yeah. But at that time, you couldn't really say what type of zombie could do that and do that because, like you said, that was the first flesh-eating zombie movie. Because they had zombies before, like White Zombie and some other, like, I think the Alan Doctor. No, I don't think he had zombies in that movie. Anyway, long story short, they said that this was the one that was the first flesh-eating, mindless flesh eaters and stuff like that. They don't have one thing that's the feed. But, you're right, because now I guess Romero retweets some stuff for Dawn of the Dead, the 1978 movie. But I mean, 'cause they were mindless in there and whatnot, and they were just walking. They were just really mindless because they were just walking. And Karen, when she picked up that knife, when she picked up that garden hoe and stabbed her mother, I was like, why are you doing that? You know what I'm saying? Like, why? Because she sat there and was chewing off her daddy's arm, and then I'm like, okay, she's gonna attack her mom.
But that gets to the point of what makes zombies scary. And it's really nothing, because zombies are one of those sort of horror creatures that individually you're not scared of a zombie. Like, you know, if either of us had to take on a zombie at some point, we would be like, girl, I just like bashed it in the head and it was fine. But what is really scary about zombies is the group of zombies. Like, you get 20 zombies, 30, 40, they're all coming at you from all different angles. You can't escape. That's what's scary about zombies, not any one particular zombie. And I think they were still sort of like figuring that out at this point. Like, George Romero was still sort of like, you know, fine-tuning what is scary about this new creature that he had basically created.
I like it. No, I like it. I love where the conversation was going.
Donovan got some great points. I mean, like you said.
Even though he likes Harry, but, you know.
You're not going to let that die.
Harry, I just understand Harry.
Yes. Well, there you go. Okay. So there are a lot of interesting character decisions throughout the movie. Like, you know, some wanted to stay in the cellar, some wanted to barricade the doors, and, you know, then they hear that there are rescue centers offering safety and whatnot. And so, there's that whole scene where they are refueling the truck, and that goes wrong. And I'm just curious to ask, like, were there any of the decisions that were made where you would have been like, I think I would have done that too, or at least I would have tried to have done that, or would you have just decided to have stayed in the house, like barricaded until like everything sort of passed?
But that's the thing. They didn't know how long this was going to pass. Plus,
that's why I'm asking what you would do.
With me, I would constantly be on the road. I would not.
Okay.
Because if I came in, if I was being, I came in, I saw this distraught white woman. If she would have came with me, I would have brought her with me. But like, it's not safe here because you don't know anybody, know what's going on. Come with me because it's street in numbers. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to find gas. Where's your car? But she was catatonic because I'm pretty sure.
Because she had a car.
She had a car.
Obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still there, allegedly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's not going nowhere. But and when she crashed it into the tree, it was like a little bump. You know what I'm saying? Like a bump. And all they had to do was just push it up and, get it out past the tree and go. I would constantly be on the road because you don't want to stand there. And see, the thing of the matter, and I'm hoping not take this away from anybody, but when they got to the house and they started hammering, because this is something else to touch back on what Donovan said, the tweak, the zombie wasn't scary or not. That was what was really drawing them to the house. The
It was
scream,
loud as fuck.
the fight.
Yeah, they were all loud as fuck.
Yeah, and even they went now. I would put this into Harry's basket because they went into the cellar, and they probably would not be making that much noise for them to hear.
Oh,
But then again, we don't know how
Donovan.
strong they hear it.
You're luring people to your side.
I'm saying I'm giving him that one thing. If they'd have been in the basement, they probably would not have made enough noise for them for the zombies to hear them and come towards them. However, the thing is like by morning you saw there was more of them because people are turning at a rapid rate. So you don't want to be stuck down there too much and not know what's going on. And you can. And Cooper was saying like he was trying to take the TV downstairs, and he was like, "There's no reception downstairs," but no, you're really trying to take the TV downstairs because you're too quiet about it. Because you did want to be upstairs, so you want to take it downstairs. And
iPhones, they didn't have good reception down there either.
Boy.
Especially with the iOS 11.
Oh goodness.
Yes, don't get you started.
Yeah, no, but what about anybody else? Like, was there anything, like any type of decision where you would have been like, maybe I would have done that, or maybe I would have done something different? Besides, I guess everybody's going into the cellar now with Donovan.
No, I going into the cellar definitely would not work for me because I have to be in a place where I can see multiple ways out.
Yeah, Legionnaire always carries his katana.
Yeah.
Legionnaire always has his katana with them.
Yeah.
Need more than one exit, or I can't be there.
Exactly. Because once they clog up the entry, it's like
You done. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. And that's why I would have stayed upstairs. If I had to stay in the house, I would
Right.
have stayed upstairs. I'd have been quiet as fuck. Y'all stop by that damn hammer shop.
That's too funny. So,
Just for the record, I would not have gone into the cellar.
Oh, okay.
I would have stayed up, and actually, I wrote down different things that I thought Ben did wrong.
Oh
Because there was so
my
much he did
gosh.
right. Calm
Okay,
down.
let's hear
First
it.
of all, calm down. But second of all,
Did Harry
I
give you
wrote
this
down
list?
different mistakes that would have ultimately led to him living in the end.
Oh,
And
okay.
Mistake number one. Well, number one was not killing Barbara, but mistake number 3 was staying in that house. Because him staying in that house, boarding up the windows, like, just run. Like, they're not faster than you. You can run to a neighboring town or something like that. Like, even if there are zombies who will pop up, like, from behind a tree or whatever, hit them in the head and keep on going. Like,
Hit 'em in the head and
boxing
keep on
yourself
going.
in is never a good idea.
I like it. What was number 2? Because you're skipping around.
Number 2.
Yeah, I love. He's got a composition
Get them
notebook.
notes. Get the notes. I
Number
love it.
2. Number 2 was fighting the 2 zombies. So at that point when he was in the house and then the 2 zombies were outside of the house, he went out to fight them. So
yes, we just heard them.
That. Apparently we did. But that was number 2, since you're curious.
Ah, okay. Interesting. Okay. I can dig it. I understand. Donovan. So let's talk about the ending. So a lot of stuff happens. Basically, like, everybody dies at the end. Harry, Donovan's buddy, tries to, do a coup, but it doesn't work. He ends up dying. Like, everybody ends up dying, and Ben is the sole survivor, as Akon once said. And it is now morning, and we sort of see what's going on outside. And basically all hell broke loose, but they are sort of like collecting the bodies of like all these zombies that they're killing.
Mm-hmm.
And Ben has...
Well, before you get to that, I would like to mention that this is one of the few zombie movies where there is a resolution. Like, in most zombie movies, you don't have, like, oh, and then a bunch of people came, where, like, you always think the government is going to show up and save the day or whatever. That almost never happens. This and that other movie, the more recent one, Cillian Murphy, Naomi... It was in England.
Oh, you mean
28 Days Later?
28 days.
Yes. Like, at the very end of that one, you had...
Wait, Naomi Harris is in 28 Days Later?
Yes.
I love her.
Yes.
That was her first role.
Oh.
That's the first time I saw her.
Yeah.
The first time I saw her was as Calypso.
Oh, no.
I love her. Shout out to Moneypenny. Okay, continue on, Donovan.
But most movies in this genre, it's kind of specific to zombies in the horror genre, in that horror films rarely have a happy ending when zombies are involved.
Yeah.
And that's true.
That's accurate, yeah. And they always leave it open-ended. It's like the zombies are still out there.
Exactly.
Right.
Like, you don't get people coming in to save the day. And I wonder, was the 1968 version different because it was the first one, or because they hadn't realized yet that to make a zombie movie really scary was to sort of like allude to the idea that it's an ongoing thing. Like, there is no resolution. Like, they're just going to keep going. Like, you kill dead people. Like on The Walking Dead, when you die, you become a zombie. Like, that wasn't so that wasn't like present necessarily.
Yeah, it was kind of.
Yeah.
It was the one.
I mean, they did say if you die, you have to burn the body, but it wasn't like common knowledge. Like, now, if a zombie apocalypse really happened, back to my previous point, we're so much more knowledgeable now,
But that's why I had to counter you at, Donovan, just for a tad, because you got a good point.
Ooh, not a counter, girl. Okay.
It's just a counter, I guess if a counter, devil's advocate / thing, because it kind of comes up because Fear the Walking Dead. I'm gonna use Fear the Walking Dead, Night of the Living Dead, and the Resident Evil movies. Because
God, is this in MLA form?
No.
Oh no, because you got your sources.
Oh, I'm just saying. You gotta have your source. You gotta have your receipts, man. You gotta have your receipts. No, I'm just breaking up 3 different.
Well, look at what happened to Phaedra Parks with her receipts.
Now now we're gonna leave.
You know what we are. What we're not gonna do right now.
Let's leave. She already been dragged already on Facebook right now. But Fear the Walking Dead and Night of the Living Dead pretty much have the same, thing. You die, no matter how you die, you come back.
Yeah.
Resident Evil, you didn't have to die, come back a zombie. It was just you got bit by a virus. You got bit. You can sit there and die and nothing would happen to you. You probably become zombie child or something like that after the fact. But it wouldn't be, okay, he's dead, or we got put a bullet in his head so he won't come back. And so is it certain situations where certain zombie movies where I think also Return of the Living Dead. That's another one that's a big one because
Which one?
Return of the Living Dead.
Okay.
That's the one where it was a toxin, and if the toxin got on you, or if you breathe some of the toxin in and up close, and it also the toxin also reanimated already dead flesh. So if somebody killed you, shot you, or something like that, you weren't gonna return. You could just be there.
Child, this ain't even a movie. You just made that up.
No, it's in the movie. I'm just saying that, it's just certain instances where that would have came into play. But it always goes back to the question of what would you do. That's why I was kind of hesitant to answer that question, because technically, no matter how much zombie movies we watch, none of us will be prepared because we don't know what we're dealing with. Because
I'm prepared.
Well, because that's what happened in Return of the Living Dead when the first zombie popped up. Because that's a little when he popped up, they said, "Oh, do it like they did in Night of the Living Dead. Get him in the head," and they stuck him in the head, and the thing kept moving. And like, "Oh shit, we don't know what to do."
Well, that's
now.
just unrealistic because no, wait a second. Because like, even if you are a zombie, your brain is like the control center for your body. So even if there's no, because I feel like the premise of zombies, like as a creature, is that they don't have souls. The whatever was there that made them human is gone, and they're just animated corpses roaming around mindlessly. So it makes sense that they are very carnal and very sort of like primitive, in that all their objective is to eat. Like even in this movie, like they're scared of fire. Like we're not scared of fire.
No, that is true.
We know. Yeah, it's like it's a very primitive thing. Like, oh my God, fire! What is that? Run! It's hot. It's bright. Whatever.
It's
but
hot.
like,
It's bright.
but your brain is where all that primitiveness comes from. Like your brain controls like your body. So if you take that out, then you're done. So even in these movies where you take out the brain and the zombie keeps moving, that's just unrealistic. Like if zombies did exist, they would need a brain. You need a brain. You can't just have like, that's like a chicken with its head cut off walking around. Like,
and that
I
happened.
killed a few chickens.
Right.
Well, no, wait a second. I grew up on a farm, so I've killed a few chickens, and I know that there is some momentary spasms that happen, but the chicken is essentially, it's done once the head is removed.
Well, zombies walking around is just
Donovan in the farmland? Killing chickens?
This is a lot you don't know.
Yeah, you're gonna be his target all night, man. But
Oh my gosh.
but I'm just saying we don't know what is going on to happen because I got some trivia at the end of the movie.
Okay.
I got some trivia at the end of the show, Jeff. If you want me to drop some more?
Oh yeah, you feel free to. Feel free to drop the trivia. I will give Donovan props though, because I love the whole psychological moment that we just had. That was really nice.
I mean, I'm just trying to like dig deeper.
Okay, so give us some trivia.
Oh, we're doing trivia now?
Yeah,
Okay,
give us some trivia, because we're going to head into the awards soon.
Oh, before I give the trivia, I want to say that the most haunting part of the movie was with Ben, the sole survivor.
Yeah, we didn't get into that because Donovan.
We didn't get into that.
Donovan interjected. I'll say.
Okay.
Interjected in a good way with the psychology.
Okay. I'll be silent.
Oh gosh.
Because again, when I saw the remake, I thought that the ending was going to play out like the remake. Foolish me. You know what I'm saying? So.
Oh, there's a happier ending.
Say what?
There's a happier ending in the remake.
There's a somewhat happier ending in the remake.
Yeah.
Well,
and
yeah. In this movie, Ben dies. He gets shot because he gets mistaken for
a walker, a zombie. Yeah.
Walker, zombie,
or was
ghoul.
it just because he was black?
Well,
see, I thought that too, Donovan, but then I did some reading, and they said that they were going to cast some burly white man to play Ben. He was supposed to be a trucker type. Mm-hmm. And then somebody said, well, I know this guy named Dwayne Jones. He's a teacher and professor at he's a teacher and an actor at a local school and stuff like that. So when he came out in audition, and even the guy who was going to get cast as a trucker was like, no, I think I need to cast this guy because he has so much, gravitas and stuff.
Through research.
And so,
Shout out to the trivia.
And then George Romero was like, I cast the right person for the part. He just happened to be black. And so they did tweak his dialogue a little bit because the truck was going to sound uneducated and very, stupid. And you got this, trained actor, who's got a BA.
I think trained. Don't get too excited, Donovan.
But yeah, but I saw that man because for the longest time since I read that, Donovan, I said they shot that man because he was black. But they said it was really because I'll be at the end of the movie. But I still think it's hand in hand. Yeah,
well, I never really thought that they shot him with the intention, like, oh, there's a black man, shoot him. Right. I thought that it was more of a commentary on society when I did think that. Now, when I look at it, I just sort of see it for what it is. Like, Ben is us. He's the main character. He's the one that we care about the most. And then when he's shot, there's this sense of hopelessness. Like,
exactly.
It's like, what's happening? It's, Barbara gets taken out of that sort of, this is us. As the audience, we latch on to a figure and we say, this is me, or this is us. This is the person that I would be in this situation. Barbara loses that as soon as Ben is introduced because she seems, by comparison, to be like ridiculous. So we latch on to Ben, and then when he's killed, it's like, all right, so maybe I wouldn't survive. And it leaves you with this sense of like, wow, And even the music at the end, the pictures during the ending credits of his dead body being tossed onto the pile, it's like
the hooks.
It's just very sad and.
And thank you. You just summed up why that movie still scares me to this day as a black man, as a man of
color. #Get out.
Exactly, because I was like, to them it was just another thing to throw in the fire, and so I was like, but I'm thinking like, could y'all have seen whether or not that he was dead? But I said, then again, you didn't really can tell the cemetery man was dead. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he didn't have any bite marks on him. He was just walking. And
he should have been yelling, "I'm alive! Don't shoot me!"
Or something.
But would they have done that, especially in today's climate?
Well, yeah.
Where because that's the thing where the movie transcends. It still holds up to my personal opinion, because I'm pretty sure cell towers would have been just a mess if this had them taken down today. So you probably could get no phone call in, gas is crazy and stuff. So, but it's just the fact that man survived that horrific night to only be killed by like an everyday situation. That's what hurt me. You know what I'm saying? And so, but I was gonna go ahead and go to the trivia here. The Return of the Living Dead was supposed to have been the sequel. Actually, Return of the Living Dead was a novel written by the co-author of Night of the Living Dead. What's that guy's name? I can't remember the guy's name, but it was a co-author of a co-writer for Night of the Living Dead. John Russo, excuse me. He went and wrote a novel called Return of the Living Dead, and it was a continuation of what happened, after Night of the Living Dead, because him and I think George Romero had a split, and how the movie was going to be, but what they want to take the next movie. And so George went and did Dawn, and John went and did the book, but then they turned the book from Return of the Living Dead into what you saw. Has anybody here seen Return of the Living Dead?
No.
I don't think so.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, classic, if y'all have not seen it. And they tweaked it a little bit, and in the movie Return of the Living Dead, they referred to the stuff that happened in Night of the Living Dead as a dramatization of something that actually happened. It wasn't as broad as world-ending type situation, but it was a well-contained situation that the government came in, army came in, the military came in, they packaged all the body because it was a chemical warfare agent or something like that got out, and one of the containers that had one of the dead bodies from the incident was in the basement of where they was working at. That's how that movie got started off. That's trivia number one. Trivia number two is that for the remake of Night of the Living Dead 1990, some of the cast members came and visited the set. They shot in the same house that the original movie was shot in, and they shot the same property. And some of the cast members from the original movie that were still alive came and met some of the new cast that was playing their parts. And the reason why I remember this is because there was a behind-the-scenes feature that aired one night, and I remember that's how good my memory is from way back in the day. And I remember them, seeing some of the older people. That's what made me go seek out the original movie because I didn't know it was a remake at the time. So, and I think that's all for right now. I don't want to take too much of everybody else's time. So.
I like it. All right, so let's check to see if the original Night of the Living Dead has received any awards. And it has, although it's a more recent-ish award. In 1999, the National Film Preservation Board, it won as part of the National Film Registry.
Okay. All right.
So, there you go. And over on Rotten Tomatoes, on the Rotten Tomatoes Fresh meter, it is certified fresh, 87%.
I thought it'd been higher, but okay.
I can see why it wasn't higher, but it's still one of those movies that feels like because it was the first, it needs to be 100%.
Yeah.
It led off a genre, so...
And it's been remade so many damn times because, the rights of the movie are public domain. So if we want to go do a Night of the Living Dead movie, we could. And we would not
Let's go.
All right. Let's do this.
Donovan will play Harry.
Ugh.
Yes. All right. Let's hand out some of our own awards since we are here in the ballroom. Let's start off with an award that I really like, the Scream Queen.
Oh, Barbara.
Barbara? Even though
Definitely
she never really
Barbara.
screamed. Did she scream? Like once.
Once or two, but the one who had the most blood-curdling scream was Helen when she was getting stabbed by Karen.
Yeah.
That's true, yeah.
True. Yeah, I'm going to give it to her because Barbara annoyed me. And she was pretty. She was very pretty. I was looking at her. She reminded me of Sophia Loren. She was whoever that actress was, she was gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
Who was the diva?
Barbara.
Definitely.
I would say Harry.
Wow. The ingenue?
Judy.
The biggest douche?
Harry.
Yeah, Harry.
Harry, even though I understand where he was coming from.
Well, the See You Next Tuesday Cunt Award.
Barbara. I just don't like her.
The Read of the Night.
Helen.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the We Don't Have to Die Together
Mm-hmm.
one. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The Queen of Shade.
Same.
Yeah. Helen. Come through, Helen.
Come on, Hal.
The Barf Bag Moment.
I would say when Barbara saw the lady at the top of the stairs and
Yes.
she was like partially decomposed, which, to be fair, poses more questions because it's like this body is like partially decomposed. So how long has this been going on? Because from the rest of the film, it seems like it started that day. So how did this body have time to decompose?
Maybe she's the first.
Or was she eating, and that's why it's decomposed?
Oh,
But
right.
that, if she was eating this, she was licked clean, and they did.
Oh my gosh.
That is
But
hilarious.
you know what, Donovan? That brings up another point. If she was eating, then why didn't she just get up and walk around? Why was she just still laying there? Because her brain was still intact.
She should be a zombie.
Yeah.
Because they only ate her face. Her brain was still there.
Mm-hmm.
The scariest moment.
I got two. Y'all go ahead first, though.
For me, I would say the scariest moment would be after the movie after Ben got shot, that sequence that I talked about with him being thrown on a fire, because it really left you with this sense of like, what the fuck? Like, you know, that was because it stays with you.
Mm-hmm.
That is true.
Anybody else want to go first? Well, I was gonna throw mine in. Mine was what Donovan just said, but it's also the part where he actually got shot, because I jumped because
I did jump at that, yeah.
At that point in time, I had only seen one black man survive a horror movie, and I'm not going to get into which movie that was. And so when I saw him was the last person standing, I'm like, oh, so they do survive. When that gun came through and that bullet came through and popped him in the head, I'm like, and I was shocked. I was still for like about a good 10, 15 minutes after the first initial showing, and it still makes my stomach turn every time I see it. The second thing that scared me was when that door came down, because when Barbara finally she came to, and she hopped up, and then went up there, was helping Ben with the door and everything, and then they just got too strong, and the door fell, and her brothers came in. Like, he came in like, boom, I'm here, bitch.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You know, and then it just hit her, and it just paralyzed her all over again. It was like, you know, damn, you know, so that scared me, even though seeing that clip on another movie, I didn't get the connotation of what was going on, you know, the context. You know, I didn't know that was her brother or that was her, you know, I just saw the guy come in. I didn't see him yank her outside. I didn't see that part in another movie. I just saw him come in and the movie clipped to something else, cut to something else though, but that shocked.
She also didn't scream when he grabbed her and brought her into this. She was like, help me, or she said something, Johnny, or something like that, but she didn't like scream. So I was kind of thrown off by that.
I thought she said, help me, please help me. But Ben was like, damn. He waited trying to fight. I'm like, he just ran. And then he went to the basement. Then Karen was standing right there. He just threw her in the damn bed and just like, bye. So.
Mm-hmm.
What was the movie you didn't want to mention, Mark?
The movie that the black guy.
Yes. Tales from the Hood?
No.
You did not just mention Tales from the Hood.
That's a Hood classic. Don't judge.
I'm not judging. I love that movie.
Yes, I love the little dolls. Creepy as fuck. But Mark, continue on.
No, the movie is called Night of the Demons. And
Night of the Demons.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna have to do that on Horror Hotel one season.
Yeah, that is my shit. Oh my god, I can talk about that all fucking night. Go ahead though. But that's the movie I meant. That's the first time.
Hold on, what are you talking about?
Night of the Demons, 1988 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
But Demon Night is also my
Demon Night is good too, though.
I'm like, that was Demon Night. What
Shout
are
out to
you
Jada
talking about?
Pinkett, minus the Smith, I think, at the time. Okay, this is an obvious one. The best slap.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have to say it? Like,
Maybe not.
Slapping the shit out of Barbara.
Yes. The moment that
You know
made you
something,
gag.
Jeff?
Oh, wait, go ahead.
I was gonna say, you know something, Jeff? They said that she was supposed to slap him 3 times.
She did. Oh.
And he told them, like, I can only allow her to slap me once. When it was filmed.
I like it.
Come through.
Yeah,
And I bet you he slapped her ass for real. That was real. Y'all thinking this was a movie? He slapped the shit out of that white lady.
Right.
Yes. The moment that made you gag.
Being getting shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The most non-politically correct moment?
I would say the slap.
I was literally thinking that. Especially in that time, that was definitely not politically correct.
And the That's So Retro moment.
That damn brought that newscast.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, let's rank the film in our special Horror Hotel categories. We've got the Screamer for films that are filled with scares, the Gutbuster for films that are grotesque, the Eye Popper for films that are visually impressive, the Gravedigger for films that lack scares, and the Mind Blower for overall best in show. You may mix and match. It's up to you. Get creative. We will start off with Mark.
Best in show. Best in show for me because I just love everything about this movie. It's just it's iconic. It is it's a I don't want to say pioneering because I don't think that's a word.
Yeah, that's a word.
Pioneer. Is it? Oh,
Pioneering. I feel like that's an American word in the dictionary.
But it pioneered what we get today. Because I always tell people, if it wasn't for Night of the Living Dead, 'cause some people say the movie's boring and sucks and all that. I said, if it wasn't for Night of the Living Dead, you would not have The Walking Dead. You would not have Z Nation. You would not have Resident Evil. You wouldn't have any of these things that you take for granted today. Respect your classics, and keep it moving. So it's like I said, it still freaks me out to this day. And so I guess it's a screamer as well because I cannot watch Night of the Living Dead if I lay down and go to sleep. Because as soon as I close my eyes and wake and into my dream, I'm in a house trapped with people I don't like and got to sit there and make my way out. So that's all I get.
I like it. Donovan?
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if there was like a real screamer moment because these movies, especially in this period of time, didn't really provide much as far as the scares go. Or maybe scares were different back then. But just nothing about this movie like authentically scared me. But there was a general sense of like uneasiness. So, I mean, I would like to give it that, but like I'm not sure that I can really because I wasn't genuinely scared. So, yeah, I don't know.
I'm lost. Legionnaire, save us.
Save you? I gave you everything.
You did, but I still wanted more.
Well, for me, this movie was a mind blower. It definitely set the stage for all the zombie movies to come. Still, it's probably still one of few movies of the genre that I will not watch at night in the dark.
Ooh.
I don't know if it was all that scary, but okay.
Well, I'm speaking for me.
Okay. All right.
Ramon?
I would definitely give it Mind Blower. I definitely feel like it was a classic and set the precedence for a lot of the zombie movies. I also wasn't necessarily scared, because it's not that easy for movies to scare me, but I did like a lot that the movie had to offer. So that's why I picked that category.
Okay. I'm going to go with Mind Blower as well because, it is the trendsetter. It is the first one that inspired, everything. We have podcasts here on our network based on The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead, and those would not exist without this movie. And I'm also going to give it a gutbuster because some of the zombies did look gross, even though some of them just looked like they didn't bathe for like a week. But that's gross to me. And when they were eating the people, that was kind of gross to me. So, gutbuster for that. Now let's rate the film on our 1 to 10 hotel room key scale. The point system is allowed, and let's keep it spicy. And let's start off with Donovan.
I would give the movie a 10 because it kicked off the genre. You really can't. I'm a writer, not to toot my own horn, in production on a film right now. And it's
a porno.
You're in it, but the thing about it though is it's so hard to come up with original ideas, especially ones that catch on. So the fact that someone thought up the modern zombie genre, you can't when you think about it, you can't undersell that. It has to be given that credit, and I feel like that counts for a lot. So I give it a 10, just purely off of the fact that the film, just purely as a film that was made and like just as like a piece of art, it does succeed in a lot of places, but just that first modern zombie movie, it's a 10 for me.
Ramon.
I will also give it a 10. It has a lot of elements that I like to see in a horror movie. And especially with this being the first time I've seen it, I was excited and pleasantly surprised. I just appreciate a lot about the movie. So yeah, I'll give it 10.
Legionnaire.
10 for me. It's everything everyone else has said. I mean, it's a classic. Definitely set the trend for what we know as the modern day zombie horror genre. And it still has, while not out and out scares for me, it still has a creepiness factor that has stood the test of time for me.
All right now. Donovan started the 10 train. He's the conductor. Mark, are you on the 10 train too? Or are you on the sidecar?
I'm chewing on this damn 10 train, and I would give it more than 10, but, infinity, because like I said, it's the holy grail of zombie movies. You have to respect it. You have to give it its props and everything, because it did start off this whole subgenre that is still shambling along to this day.
I mean, you have The Walking Dead. You have,
yeah.
I'm sure there are like 3 other Hollywood films in production that have zombies at the center. Like, it's still alive. So
exactly, it's not. Yeah, and if anything, The Walking Dead revigorated the genre, but it was never dead. It was just simmering because there was still some low budget zombie movie coming out every 5 minutes on the $5 bin at Walmart. So I'm just being real. And then Sci-Fi Channel kept making them horrible ass zombie movies and stuff, but they still didn't have the depth, because even though you take Night of the Living Dead, right, the 1968 version we're talking about right now, and you like I said, you could use it as a fallout zone, anything like that. It's still the characters at the bottom, at the base of it's a character study, and if you can take that and try to transition that to any other type of movie, it still holds up. But you take like the zombie aspect and try to, what a lot of people are doing, I'm taking the zombie aspect, put people trapped in the situation, and then have them argue and stuff like that. But you really don't care about nobody in their house. In like some cheap Sci-Fi Channel movie, you don't care about nobody.
Z Nation.
You just sit there, Z Nation. You just wait for everybody to get picked off by the end of the movie. That's if you want to sit there and waste time. But Night of the Living Dead, I actually cared about Ben. You know what I'm saying? Even though you didn't know that much about him, you didn't know his folks or anything like that, what he did for a living. It just that he knew that he was just trying to survive.
Come through character development.
And then, Barbara sitting here looking comatose and everything,
Oh my gosh.
I kind of care for her. I care for her too. I think I care for her too, because she just lost. Because I looked at this like I looked at Barbara and Johnny as me and my sister.
Aww.
And because if something had happened to me, I'm thinking my sister probably been just as lunatic, crazy as Barbara was, because she always looks up to me to and I'm not saying like as like just being this high and mighty. I'm just saying she looks to me for guidance sometimes. And so if something like that had to happen, she would have enough common sense to know to not just fall completely apart, but she will kind of like have her moment, And so I looked at that as like my sister having her moment, because then my sister can be stupid enough, if I come up, if I do get back up and say like I'm here trying, because she would be like, you finna stay down. Because I saw you go down, and you gonna stay down again then. So I looked at them, and so it's just, you look at all those characters in that house, and you cared about. But you look at anything else, like Rise of the Dead, and like, oh girl, just die already. You see what I'm saying? And so that's how I look at it. Like those, they trying to recreate what Night of the Living Dead did, and they cannot hold even a matchstick to it, let alone a camera. So.
Well, damn. I don't know if I have anything else to add, but I will say that I am on the 10 train. Choo-choo, motherfuckers. A 10 from me. And basically, echoing what everyone else has said, but I will add in that one of the reasons why I really liked the movie was because this is 1968, and we have a black man as the lead in a horror movie. I have to give major props to the film, to the character Ben, and to its actor Dwayne Jones, because he was awesome and outstanding, and the only one with any real rational sense. So, major props. And on that note, please drag your bodies away from the ballroom and prepare to check out. Join us next time for a brand new installment of Horror Hotel. Once again, here's one of our bellhops with a few special announcements.
Good evening. We thank you for your patronage. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/PCR Horror Hotel. Follow Panpichulo Radio on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter, and YouTube, at Panpichulo Radio. For more information on Horror Hotel, visit panpichuloradio.com/Horror Hotel. Do you have any questions, suggestions, comments, or concerns? Email us via contact@panpichuloradio.com. Help support Panpichulo Radio financially by visiting gofundme.com/panpichuloradio. Are you interested in joining the Panpichulo Radio team as an on-air personality or blog contributor? Email talent@panpichuloradio.com. Binge listen to your favorite Panpichulo Radio programs by visiting panpichuloradio.com/archives. You can also download tonight's broadcast and the rest of the series through iTunes. Just search for Panpichulo Radio's Horror Hotel, and subscribe. We hope you've brought your death certificate. Make final arrangements now.
Thank you. My fellow Horror Hotel team, please wish our hotel guests and the listeners a good night.
Good night, everybody.
All right, good night, listeners.
They came for you, Felicia.
Watch out for that garden hoe.
Go
Thank-
ahead and laugh. It was funny.
Stop
Go
it.
ahead and
You're
laugh.
ignorant.
Thank you, Felicia. Now bye, Felicia. Thanks for tuning in. You may have checked into the Horror Hotel, much like Felicia, but who says you're allowed to check out? Good night.